Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off our journey today with this captivating exploration. On this first slide, we see the title, A Journey 6,000 Years in the Making. We'll be delving into the fascinating origins of civilization, focusing on the creators of some of the earliest societies. Specifically, we'll take a closer look at the Sumerian kingdom. Over the next few slides, we'll uncover how these ancient people laid the foundations for the world we live in today. So let's get started. Let's take a closer look at why this region is called the Cradle of Civilization. As you can see, the significance of this area revolves around the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. These two rivers were essential because they provided the water and fertile soil needed for early societies to thrive. Around 5000 BC, people began settling in this region, which is located in what we now call southern Mesopotamia. This area is incredibly important because it marks the very beginning of civilization itself. So when we ask, where did civilization begin? The answer points us to this fertile land between these two mighty rivers. Their presence allowed early humans to develop agriculture, settle into permanent communities, and eventually build the complex societies that form the foundation of our history today. Let's take a closer look at some of the earliest and most significant city-states in Sumer. We have Lagash, Kish, Uruk, and Ur. These cities weren't just places where people lived, they were the centers of political power, culture, and innovation. Each city developed its own government, religious practices, and innovations, which contributed to the overall growth of Sumer. This slide highlights the rise of these city-states as the foundational elements of what we call the Great Sumerian cities. They played a crucial role in shaping early civilization in Mesopotamia, setting the stage for future developments in governance, writing, and urban planning. Understanding these cities helps us see how complex societies formed from small communities, driven by shared religious beliefs, economic needs, and social organization. These cities weren't isolated. They interacted, competed, and sometimes allied with each other, fueling the rise of Sumer as a powerful civilization. So, when we talk about the rise of the city-state, we're really talking about the emergence of organized urban centers that laid the groundwork for civilization itself. Let's take a closer look at the Arab Gulf Coast region, an area that played a crucial role in ancient history. This region's significance is largely tied to the Euphrates River outlet, which provided vital water resources and supported early settlements. When we talk about its location, we're referring to a strategic area that has been a crossroads for trade and culture for thousands of years. Dating back approximately 3,700 years ago, this region was already bustling with activity. One of the key cities here was Ur, which stood out as the shining capital of its time. Ur was not just a city, it was a center of power and trade, connecting different parts of the ancient world. Understanding this region helps us see how early civilizations thrived by leveraging their geographical advantages. Its importance goes beyond just geography. It's about how these early societies laid the foundations for future cultures and economies. So, as we continue, keep in mind how these early centers of power like Ur helped shape the history of the entire region. Let's take a closer look at the rich history of writing systems. This slide highlights that the use of writing has a legacy spanning over 2,000 years. One of the earliest tools used was the wedge-shaped stylus, which was essential for inscribing characters onto clay tablets. This system, developed around 3100 BC, is famously known as cuneiform, and it's considered one of the oldest recorded forms of writing. The birth of cuneiform marked a significant milestone in human history, especially as it was used to record the achievements of the Sumerians, including their advancements in writing. These innovations laid the foundation for the development of written communication, shaping civilizations for millennia to come. Let's take a closer look at some of the foundational aspects that shaped early civilization. First, we have gear technology. This refers to the tools and techniques that the Sumerians developed to improve their daily lives, from farming to construction. Next is classical architecture, which highlights their impressive building skills, like the ziggurats and city walls that still fascinate us today. Then, balanced governance points to the systems of leadership and law they created to organize their society and maintain order. Moving on, Input Latin letters language emphasizes their invention of cuneiform, one of the earliest writing systems, which was crucial for record-keeping and communication. As we see, these elements form the foundations of modern life, showing how innovation in these areas laid the groundwork for future civilizations. Specifically, the Sumerian achievements in these fields demonstrate remarkable ingenuity and foresight. Their innovations didn't just serve their immediate needs, they set in motion developments that continue to influence us today. So, when we talk about their achievements, we're really looking at the roots of many modern concepts in technology, governance, architecture, and language. Now, let's turn our attention to the Semitic community. As you can see, they are associated with the Semitic language, which originated in the Arabian Peninsula. This region was the birthplace of this influential language group, shaping the culture and history of the area. A key point here is the mention of the Akkadians, who are considered to be the who behind this movement. They represent a new power that rises in this historical landscape. The arrival of the Akkadians marks a significant turning point, signaling the emergence of a new force that would influence subsequent civilizations. So, as we connect these dots, it's clear that the Semitic community and the Akkadian rise are crucial in understanding the broader development of early civilizations in this region. Let's take a closer look at Akkad, which was the capital of the Akkadian Empire. This city played a crucial role as the heart of one of the first great empires in history. From Akkad, the empire expanded its reach all the way to Lebanon, demonstrating its vast influence and territorial ambitions. The reach of the Akkadian Empire was impressive for its time, marking a significant achievement in ancient history. This expansion and consolidation of power happened around 2340 BC, a pivotal year that showcases how early civilizations began to build expansive empires. One of the most important achievements of this period was establishing the first true empire builder, Sargon the Great. He is often credited with unifying various city-states under his rule, creating a centralized authority that set the foundation for future empires. Sargon's leadership and vision really highlight the concept of empire building, bringing together diverse peoples and regions under a single ruler. This slide underscores how early efforts in statecraft and territorial expansion laid the groundwork for the complex civilizations that followed. So, as we see, Akkad and Sargon the Great represent the birth of empire building and territorial dominance, which are key themes in understanding how ancient civilizations evolved and influenced later societies. Now let's look at the Semitic control and what it signifies for this period of history. By around 2000 BC, we see a significant shift as the Akkadian Empire begins to decline, marking what we can call the final end of their dominance. This collapse was a major turning point, as it opened the door for new powers to rise. One such power is which rose around 2125 BC in what is now southern Mesopotamia. This period was characterized by rebellion against the old Sumerian rulers, signaling a decline in Sumerian power and influence. This transition represents the end of an era marked by the dominance of the Sumerians and the rise of new Semitic groups that would shape the future of the region. So, in essence, this slide captures a pivotal moment, the fall of mighty empires and the emergence of new powers, illustrating how history is always moving forward through change and upheaval. The region we're talking about is called This is the area where the Sumerians primarily settled, establishing the foundation for some of the earliest civilizations. Now, thinking back about their history, can anyone recall what the capital city was around 3,700 years ago? Yes, that's right. The capital was a major hub of culture and innovation at that time. Moving on, let's identify two of the most important Sumerian city-states. These city-states played a key role in shaping their society and politics. Understanding their locations and significance helps us see how early civilizations organized themselves. And finally, to test what you've learned, consider where the Sumerians mainly settled. Remember, Their choice of location was crucial for their development, giving them access to river systems and fertile land. This sets the stage for understanding the overall growth of early urban centers in history. The Sumerian civilization came to an end around 2000 BC, marking the conclusion of one of the earliest and most influential civilizations in human history. Now, moving on to the Akkadians, they spoke a language from the Semitic family, which is quite different from the Sumerian language. This linguistic connection helped shape the cultural and political landscape of the region. The great Akkadian military leader who famously invaded Sumer in 2340 BC was Sargon of Akkad. His conquest established one of the first empires in history. Lastly, the Sumerians developed a writing system known as cuneiform, which involved wedge-shaped marks on clay tablets. This writing system is a key milestone because it allowed for the recording of laws, trade, and stories, laying the groundwork for future written communication. All these points highlight how these civilizations built upon and transformed earlier innovations, shaping the course of history. Their innovations in writing, law, and urban life truly laid the foundation for all future societies. By developing systems of writing, the Sumerians enabled communication and record-keeping that are essential even today. Their creation of law codes helped establish order and justice within their communities, and their advancements in urban planning and infrastructure set the stage for future cities to grow and flourish. The Sumerians are really the creators of civilization as we know it. Their contributions shaped not just their own society, but influenced countless generations that followed. When we think about the origins of complex societies, their legacy is undeniable. So, in essence, the Sumerian legacy is all about pioneering the key elements of civilization, writing, law, and city life, that continue to impact us today. They truly laid the groundwork for everything that came after.